Okay, so this is the first of my Kodak interview series. This is sort of like a test promo, and we're here with the author of The Patient as CEO, Miss Robin Farmanfarmaian. I can't pronounce your name.
Neither can I.
So I've heard it said a million times. I butcher it every time. So please.
Farmanfarmaian.
Very good.
Am I looking at you or the camera?
Either or. Either or. So tell me a little bit about what inspired your new book, The Patient as CEO, How Technology Empowers the Healthcare Consumer.
Absolutely. So what it is actually about is really the convergence of all these accelerating technologies, allowing us to really take full control of our health and be the CEOs of the healthcare teams. So that still, includes doctors and nurses, healthcare professionals, chiropractors, massage therapists, whoever you need on your healthcare team. Now, the reason I wrote the book is because I was misdiagnosed with an autoimmune disease when I was a teenager, and all told, in the past 20-something years, I've had, I do not do the math, I've had 43 hospitalizations, 6 major surgeries, and 3 organs removed for the misdiagnosis, right? At the age of 26, I fired all of my physicians, right, and built out a whole new healthcare team that ended up getting me diagnosed correctly, put on something called Remicade, which I get an IV every 6 weeks since 1999 now, and it put me into remission and essentially saved my life, or at the very least gave me back my life, because at the time I was too sick to work or do much of anything, right? And now I can hold down multiple jobs. I'm a professional speaker, go around the world, going to conferences. I'm on a plane at least 3 times a week.
I feel like there are 2 of you, because you respond to my email quicker than anyone else in the world. So it's pretty incredible.
Immediate execution. That's how you get a lot of things done.
Okay, so let's talk about your book. You talk about a lot of different technologies that are on the forefront. What would you say are the top 3 that you think are coming?
Well, there's a little bit more than 3, but artificial intelligence, sensors, and robotics are 3 of the biggest ones. Oh, you know what? I would have to replace 3D printing with robotics. So 3D printing, artificial intelligence, and sensors, I think, are the 3 biggest that are impacting healthcare now and in the next couple of years. But definitely robotics is in there. The power of the crowd is in there. Computing power alone, of course, is driving a massive amount of this.
Let's break down these 3. So 3D printing, I know a little bit about different companies that print organs so that doctors can get practice on these organs before going and actually dicing people off. What are some other 3D printed technologies that help in the medical field?
So it's widespread in the medical field. You can talk about 3D printing of prosthetics that are individualized, personalized, no longer being constrained to the human form, right? If you have the opportunity, if you've had a leg amputation or whatever, or both of them, you have the opportunity to be a superhuman, right? To be bionic and actually go above and beyond. So 3D printing of limbs. 3D printing of medical devices. There's a company or a doctor in Gaza that did a $5 3D printed stethoscope. Stethoscopes cost $200 here in the United States. He needed one in Gaza, couldn't get it, and 3D printed one that he says is as effective as the one here that you find retail, right? 3D printing, what you were talking about, is 3D printing an existing organ in plastic, right, or in some kind of composite like that, so that the surgeon can see it before they actually open up the patient, so an exact replica, and then they also have it on the outside of the patient's body when they're doing the surgery to see the visualization right there, touch it, feel it. It makes a big difference, especially in things like surgery for newborns. Can dramatically cut down the amount of time you're in a newborn, which is a game changer. You can see 3D printing of actual organs. That's probably on the 15 to 25 year mark. Right now we can do 3D printed liver assays and kidney assays to test for drug toxicity when you're doing things like clinical trials. To 3D print a fully vascularized organ, the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, the liver, that's probably 15 to 25 years.
So let's talk a little bit about VR and what the VR space can do for medical research. Because certainly, when I was at Singularity this summer, I saw all sorts of headsets that people were using just during lunch, just testing them out.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about what's in that new space.
Oh, virtual reality is fantastic when applied for medicine or medical purposes. So education, first and foremost. I mean, it's being used in medical establishments, right, for education. So you can do things like visualize surgery much better, the human body much better. Virtual reality in terms of being a chronic disease patient. So for a couple of years, I couldn't leave my apartment very much. I was just too sick. Like I'd go to the occasional party or I'd have to go to the grocery store, but otherwise it was just so hard for me. I was so sick. That virtual reality allows you to travel and allows you to be places when you physically can't leave. You know, if you're physically constrained to one area, all of a sudden, like the world is my oyster and I can go anywhere with virtual reality. Virtual reality with education, just if I want to go to college, right? So there are so many different applications of it, and just in my world alone.
Awesome. So, in summary, this book, now an Amazon bestseller.
Yes.
Is there a sequel coming out for this book?
Well, of
soon?
course, but not for a couple years.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much for your time, and I recommend that the viewers out there check it out if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you, Kodak, for everything you do.